Barron Trump and the Time-Traveling Compass, A Tale of Kindness. The Trump family's Mar-a-Lago estate was a labyrinth of opulence, with its sprawling gardens, gilded halls, and secret corners that seemed to whisper stories of their own. For 16-year-old Barron Trump, the estate was more than a home, it was a playground of mysteries waiting to be explored. Tall and lanky, with a mop of sandy hair and thoughtful blue eyes, Barron was known for his quiet demeanor, sharp intellect, and a curiosity that often led him to unexpected places. Unlike his siblings, who thrived in the public eye, Barron preferred the shadows, where he could tinker with gadgets, sketch intricate designs, or lose himself in books about history and adventure. One rainy afternoon in the summer of 2025, with thunder rumbling over Palm Beach, Barron found himself restless. The estate's library, usually his sanctuary, felt too familiar. His latest obsession, a biography of Leonardo da Vinci, lay open on his desk, but his mind wandered. He craved something new, something real. Slipping on a hoodie, he decided to explore the attic, a place he'd been warned to avoid due to its clutter of forgotten relics. The attic was a maze of dusty trunks, chipped statues, and cobweb-draped furniture. Barron's flashlight beam danced across the chaos, illuminating a small, ornate box tucked beneath a pile of faded tapestries. The box was carved with intricate symbols, swirling stars, crescent moons, and what looked like an ancient map. His heart quickened. He brushed off the dust and lifted the lid. Inside, nestled in velvet, was a brass compass, no larger than a pocket watch. Its surface was etched with strange runes, and its needle spun lazily, as if unsure of its direction. Barron picked it up, feeling a faint warmth against his palm. A folded piece of parchment slipped from the box, yellowed and brittle. He unfolded it carefully, revealing a single line in elegant script. Point the way, and time obeys. Kindness guides the traveler's days. Barron frowned, turning the compass over. Time obeys, he murmured. He pressed the small latch on its side, expecting a map or hidden compartment. Instead, the needle spun wildly, and a soft hum filled the air. The attic seemed to blur, the walls shimmering like heat waves on a summer road. Before he could react, a gust of wind tugged at his clothes, and the world dissolved into light. A boy in Vinci. When the light faded, Barron stood in a sun-dappled meadow, the air thick with the scent of wildflowers and freshly turned earth. The landscape was unfamiliar, rolling hills, olive groves, and a cluster of stone buildings in the distance. His hoodie felt out of place, and the compass, still clutched in his hand, pulsed faintly. The needle pointed toward a dirt path leading to the village. Where am I? Barron whispered, glancing at the parchment still tucked in his pocket. The words hadn't changed, but the compass's hum suggested purpose. He followed the path, his sneakers crunching on gravel, until he reached a small workshop at the village's edge. Smoke curled from a chimney, and the clatter of tools echoed within. Inside, a boy no older than 12 sat hunched over a wooden table, surrounded by sketches of wings, gears, and impossible machines. His dark hair was tousled, and his face was smudged with charcoal. He looked up, startled, as Barron stepped inside. Who are you? The boy asked in accented English, his voice wary but curious. I'm Barron, he replied, hesitating. I'm just passing through. What's your name? Leonardo, the boy said, eyeing Barron's strange clothes. Leonardo da Vinci. Barron's jaw dropped. Leonardo da Vinci? He glanced at the compass, its needle steady now, pointing at the boy. This was no coincidence. The compass had brought him here, to 1466, to a young Leonardo in Vinci, Italy. Leonardo's expression softened as he returned to his sketches, but his shoulders slumped. My father says these are foolish dreams, he muttered, gesturing to a drawing of a flying machine. He wants me to be a notary, like him. But I want to build things that soar. Barron recognized the spark in Leonardo's eyes, the same hunger for discovery he felt when he tinkered with gadgets or read about inventors. He knelt beside the boy, studying the sketch. This is incredible, he said. You're thinking about flight before anyone else. That's not foolish, it's genius. Leonardo blushed, but his eyes lit up. You think so? I know so, Barron said. He remembered the compass's note, kindness guides the traveler's days. Maybe his purpose here wasn't to change history but to offer encouragement. Look, I bet you'll make things the world has never seen. Don't let anyone tell you to stop dreaming. For the next hour, Barron sat with Leonardo, asking questions about his sketches and offering small suggestions, like reinforcing the wing's frame with lighter wood. He didn't know if his ideas were historically accurate, but Leonardo's enthusiasm grew with every word. As the sun dipped low, Barron felt the compass hum again. I have to go, he said reluctantly. But keep drawing, Leonardo. The world needs your ideas. Leonardo grinned, clutching his sketchbook. Thank you, Barron. I'll remember you. Barron stepped outside, pressed the compass's latch, and the world blurred. A lost pup in ancient Egypt. The next moment, Barron stood on a sandy bank beside a wide, shimmering river, the Nile, he realized, recognizing the scene from history books. Reed boats bobbed on the water, and in the distance, half-built pyramids rose against the sky. The air was hot, the sun relentless. The compass's needle pointed toward a cluster of mud brick houses nearby. As he approached, he heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, he found a small, scruffy puppy trapped in a tangle of reeds by the riverbank. Its fur was matted, and it yipped pitifully, struggling to free itself. Barron's heart clenched. He'd always loved animals, often sneaking treats to the estate's guard dogs when no one was watching. Hey, little guy, he said softly, kneeling to untangle the pup. Its big, dark eyes met his, and it licked his hand gratefully. As he freed it, a girl's voice called out in a language he didn't understand. He turned to see a girl about his age, dressed in a linen tunic, her dark hair braided with beads. She ran toward him, relief flooding her face as she saw the puppy. Is this yours? Barron asked, holding up the wriggling pup. To his surprise, the girl answered in halting English, or perhaps the compass was translating somehow. Yes. That's Anubis, my brother's dog. He's been missing for days. Thank you. She took the puppy, hugging it tightly. I'm Nefer, daughter of a scribe. Who are you? Barron, he said, smiling. Just, helping out. Nefer's eyes narrowed, but she didn't press. Instead, she invited him to her home, where her younger brother, a boy named Khepri, was overjoyed to see Anubis. The family offered Barron flatbread and dates, insisting he stay for a meal. As they ate, Nefer explained that Khepri had been heartbroken over the puppy's disappearance, blaming himself for not watching it closely. Barron glanced at the compass, its needle still. His task here was simple but meaningful, reuniting a family with their pet. Before leaving, he showed Khepri how to make a simple leash from braided reeds to keep Anubis safe. The boy's grin was reward enough. As Barron stepped outside, the compass hummed, and the Nile's banks faded into light. A poet's doubt in London. The next stop was a foggy street in 1590s London, where cobblestones glistened under lantern light. The compass led Barron to a cramped tavern, its air thick with the smell of ale and wood smoke. At a corner table, a man in his 20s scribbled furiously on parchment, his quill scratching out lines only to cross them out again. His dark hair fell over his brow, and his expression was one of frustration. Barron approached cautiously, recognizing the man from Portraits, William Shakespeare. The compass's needle pointed directly at him. Rough day? Barron asked, sliding into the seat across from him. Shakespeare looked up, startled. Who might you be, lad, dressed so strangely? Just a traveler, Barron said. I'm Barron. You look like you're struggling with something. Shakespeare sighed, pushing his parchment aside. The words won't come. I'm to write a sonnet for a patron, but my mind is a barren field. Perhaps I'm no poet after all. Barron felt a pang of sympathy. He wasn't a writer, but he knew what it was like to doubt himself, to feel the weight of expectations. "You're William Shakespeare," he said, hoping he wasn't breaking some time travel rule. "Your words will outlive you. Maybe you just need a break." Shakespeare raised an eyebrow but seemed intrigued. "You speak with strange confidence, Barron." They talked for hours, Barron listening as Shakespeare shared his fears of failure. Barron suggested focusing on something simple, a single image, like a rose or a star, to spark inspiration. He didn't know if it would help, but Shakespeare's mood lifted. By the time Barron left, the poet was scribbling again, a faint smile on his lips, the compass hummed, and London vanished. A scientist's spark in Boston. Barron's next journey took him to 1740s Boston, where he found himself outside a print shop. The compass guided him inside, where a young man was tinkering with a kite and a metal key. Sparks crackled as he adjusted a crude battery. Barron recognized him instantly, Benjamin Franklin. Franklin looked up, his spectacles glinting. "And who might you be, young sir?" "Barron," he replied. "I'm interested in your experiments." Franklin chuckled. "A fellow seeker of knowledge. I'm trying to harness lightning, but my contraption keeps failing." Barron, who'd read about Franklin's famous kite experiment, noticed a flaw in the setup: the string wasn't conductive enough. Careful not to reveal too much, he suggested using a hemp string soaked in salt water. Franklin's eyes lit up, and he set to work, muttering about capturing the heavens. As Barron left, he felt the compass's warmth again, signaling it was time to move on. The compass's lesson. Over the next few weeks, Barron traveled to countless eras, helping a young Joan of Arc find her lost prayer book, teaching a Viking child to carve a toy boat, and even guiding a lost messenger in ancient Rome. Each act was small, but the compass seemed to choose moments where kindness could ripple outward, touching lives in ways Barron couldn't fully grasp. Back in the Mar-a-Lago attic, Barron sat with the compass, its needle now still. The parchment's words echoed in his mind: "Kindness guides the traveler's days." He realized the compass wasn't about changing history's grand events but about fostering hope, courage, and connection in quiet moments. He tucked the compass back into its box, knowing he'd use it again. For now, he felt a new purpose: to carry that same empathy into his own time, one small act at a time.